Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've been on break, took my family to Yosemite. What happens is at my college we have these 16-week semesters. We go for 8 weeks, take a week off, another 8 weeks. So today's Monday, I'm coming back and I'm fine. I feel fine. I worry about my students, this whole thing they do during the break. I don't know what they do, but I don't like it when my students go to Lake Havasu and they get up at 6 in the morning and they start drinking wine coolers in 115-degree weather, and they keep drinking wine coolers until midnight. And then a week of that, they come back to my class. They don't look so good, man. They look like I found them in the colonoscopy ward at Kaiser, and they spent the last 3 days drinking 5 gallons of Miralax. And so I'm really dreading this, and I'm asking myself every time I come back, I go, what happened? And here's what happened. Spring break happened. Here's what I want to tell you today. We've got to get rid of spring break. It's bad, it's destructive, and it's phony. It's not even a real holiday. It was all made up for money-making incentive there. So I'm going to give you 5 reasons why we got to get rid of it. Number 1, you can't take a young person or anybody and put them into party mode. You can't put them into it and then expect them after a week of drinking wine coolers or beer to come back and go into student mode. It doesn't happen, man. You know what, man? Going into party mode, especially a holiday that's centered around a beer bong, you can't come back. It would be like downloading malware on your laptop, and this malware is so jacked up that your laptop just reboots forever and ever and ever. It's kind of spring break in a nutshell. We've got to get rid of it. Number 2, we've got to get rid of spring break. Here's the thing, man. When you're going to college, you're resigned to a certain amount of suffering. You're going to suffer. It's just like when I work out in the garage. I love the suffering. I do my hour of suffering and I'm done. What happens is, this is analogous to spring break, is I'll be working out and someone's going to want to talk to me. I don't know. Mailman, UPS dude, my wife, my kids, they want to talk to me and I got to talk about something. And I lose my pump, man. You lost your pump. Dude, you lost your pump, man. And now you're not sweating anymore, and you try to get back into pump mode, into hot sweat mode, and it's done. Your workout was ruined, man. Same thing with college, man. You can't leave and come back. You lose momentum. So that's the second thing. The third thing is, hey man, if we get rid of spring break, we'll just have an extra week of summer. Isn't that more appealing to you? What, I mean, I'll give you an example of this. I teach a class on Monday and Wednesday night from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's 2 hours. I tell my students. So here's the thing, man. By law, I'm supposed to give you a 15-minute break. But we can bypass the break if I let you out 15 minutes early. I'm telling you, every time the students would rather just skip the break and get out early. And it's the same thing with a semester. Let's just skip this whole spring break thing and let's just get out early. That's the American way, man. We want a head start. The fourth thing is, you never want a holiday that's centered around a beer bong. Think about that. If you have a holiday centered around a beer bong, bad things happen. Yeah, really bad. Here's what my research shows me. Spring break is so bad, especially at those beaches in Florida. The sheriff of Panama City, he has to put up a special jail encampment called Spring Break Jail. And this is a place where people crash in this jail. And he says that this jail saves their lives because they have 12 hours where they're not injecting alcohol into their liver and their brain. So they're actually living longer because of a jail. Do you want a holiday that's centered around a bong that requires a special jail so your kid can live? Does that sound good to you? No, I don't think so. Brings us to the 5th reason we gotta get rid of spring break. Who invented it? Check this out, man. It was this dude Glendon Swarthout, who in 1958, he was an English professor up in Michigan. I don't know what got into him, but in 1958, Glendon I can't say this name without laughing. Glendon Swarthout. He followed a bunch of party animals to Florida, Fort Lauderdale, and he spent the week with them, and he watched them do their stuff, man. And I don't know what this guy was. Was he like, even though he's an English professor, he was almost taking the role of an anthropologist. He wrote a journal of all their behavior, and he wrote a novel about this called Unholy Spring. He wrote a novel, 160-page novel, so I guess we could call it a novella or a novelette. So he wrote this little novel called Unholy Spring. Hollywood got a hold of it, MGM Studios in particular. And I'll put the link to this, my source for this, in the New York Times. And so he got a movie deal. MGM made a movie. They didn't call it Unholy Spring. I guess that was a little too scandalous at the time. So in 1960, a movie came out, Where the Boys Are, with Connie Francis. Very popular, an iconic film. And this spawned a lot of 1960s beach films that when I say these movie titles, I just start laughing. Bikini Beach, you know, Muscle Beach Party, and just the most lame bikini beach movies ever. And what happened was this produced a spring break mentality, and what used to be something where like 10, 20,000 kids would skip church from their Easter break in the 1950s. In the 60s, the church break became spring break, and it reached hundreds of thousands of people. By the time you got the 1980s, MTV got a hold of it, and of course that was a commercial branding opportunity for everybody. And to this day, we have this fake holiday called spring break. And you know, here's what upsets me, man. This whole phony spring break holiday, it speaks to a larger problem in society. It's like we indoctrinate people into believing that fun is self-destructive, addictive behavior. And we do this to our kids at a young age, man. So like when your kid's 5, you drag your kid for a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, which is just a little simulacrum of Las Vegas. It really is, with the chips and everything. So you drag your kid to the mindless Chuck E. Cheese. By the time your kid's in middle school, your kid graduates to Dave & Buster's. In college, your kid goes to the Beer Bong Festival in Daytona Beach. Your kid graduates from college, and now your kid, you know, spends mindless vacations in Las Vegas. And then your kid dies. And that's life in America. And it doesn't have to be that way, man. I mean, look, I understand. We get tense. We get stressed out. Life can be brutal, and we need a break. But there's got to be a way we can teach things that are relaxing or beneficial to us that aren't such mindless, self-destructive, addictive things. I mean, for example, what's wrong with a kettlebell workout? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with taking a break from your healthy eating lifestyle and having a nice, delicious, large slice of German chocolate cake? What's wrong with sitting down and listening to a Beethoven string quintet? There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you think that you need to engage in this mindless beer bong centered activity for fun, I think you've been punked. I think you got punked. And so I got to face the music today. I got to go to class, man. I got to work out, and I got to go to class, and I got to brand my product, my critical thinking product, to my students. I hope they're in good shape. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm done. Tell me what you think. Until next time, I'm out.